Alright everybody, this is the first vlog of the Gravity Falls vlogs.
What the hell did I just see?
You try to have more shock. I already showed him like 2 episodes, so yeah. This isn't anything that new. But, a few things I want to get out of the way real fast. First of all, everyone's been telling us, do these vlogs, and...
There's not so much telling as pointing a gun to our head and threatening our family members.
But there was somebody at, I think it was at Kineticon, that actually got me the first DVD here. I just wanted to say thanks to her because, and I don't remember her name, I don't know if she told me her name, whatever, but she got me this DVD, just gave it to me as a gift and said, just check it out, watch it. And at some point I had some extra time and I just popped it on. It was sort of like my lunch show because I always watch a show during lunch, and something about the DVD, just look at that cover. I don't know how well it photoed, but just that cover alone is like, wouldn't you want to see this show? I mean, just look at the shadows and the characters and stuff. I mean,
I've been burnt by movie posters before.
But something about this one just looked really interesting, and yeah, we pretty much had the first episode here called Tourist Trapped.
Yeah, I gotta say, on my side of the fence, people just kept saying, watch it, and there was other things I was gonna get around to, but then you called me up and you're just like, you have to see, like, these 2 episodes. These 2 episodes are
at least
amazing.
These 2 episodes.
Amazing, like, you wouldn't shut up about it, so I was watching the latest NC review with you over here, and I was like, alright, well, I'm gonna head out. I was like, wait, I'm like, what? He's like, you have to see this episode of Gravity Falls.
Gotta see the Gravity Falls.
Gotta see the Gravity Falls. So he put it on, and yeah, it was pretty fucking hot. Really, like, the first couple minutes of it, I was like, shit. Well, because I'm like, this is gonna be something else I gotta watch now.
Something else I'm gonna do is that there's codes at the end of every episode. There's a lot of mysteries and a lot of puzzles. I've seen these episodes already. I couldn't stop.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I thought we were gonna do
I could not stop. Okay, when you get to the end, we didn't know we were gonna do vlogs, and then, like, we've suddenly decided, okay, let's do it with Disney-cember. So I was already getting to the end of season 1. When you see the end of season 1, you'll see why I couldn't stop. You'll just be like, shit, I wouldn't be able to stop either.
This is vengeance for the fact that I got to see all of Avatar first, isn't it?
Yes, and the fact that you saw Guardians of the Galaxy before me too at the.
Well, I got a free. So. I got like.
It's a free meeting. Then you could just turned it down. So like the rest of us.
My wife won a contest, and I got to see it a week before everyone else. Who wouldn't take that opportunity?
Well, there you go. I had a chance to see.
So now you're gonna be sitting here, having seen all these episodes, knowing all the secret codes, and then pointing to me and being like, "You know nothing, Jon Snow."
No. But that is. Again, much like Adventure Time, this is a show where when you watch it again, it's like, ooh, like I never noticed that. That's one of the things we're going to talk about here. But like I said, there are secret codes and stuff like that all through, and you're supposed to decode them. Like if you're like a diehard fan, you'll find these little Easter eggs. But through the miracle of cheating and the internet, I found a video that actually says what every single saying at the end is.
You never studied.
No, I never did. I cheated. That's how I got through school. So this one, it's just very simple. It says, welcome to Gravity Fall. Very simple. But now the way you decode this, because this...
But what does that mean? That could mean anything.
Okay, but this... no, this is really interesting, because... do you know how to decode it? I mean,
I just saw the first episode. All I saw was you paused it for 3 seconds. I mean, and there was like a bad Scrabble hand there at the end, and that's all I know.
Okay, but I mean,
how the hell am I supposed to decode it?
You see some random letters that seem to be like, you know, maybe kind of like Wheel of Fortune, like maybe the spaces are letters or, you know, something like that. But what, just top of your head, would you think of? Because I couldn't. I mean, that's why.
Maybe it's an anagram, maybe it's mathematical, maybe it's... I have no idea. I just saw it only once.
Okay, no, here's...
And for only 3 seconds.
Okay, because again, I cheated. I looked online. But this is really fascinating. So, okay, at the beginning credits, they show you a whole bunch of stuff, and when the title pops up, you hear kind of this whisper, you know, like this... like that. It just sounds like nonsense. If you listen closely, it doesn't sound like anything. Apparently, if you play it backwards, it says 3 letters back. Huh, well that's weird. And then when you go to the end, the jumble, apparently with every letter you just go 3 letters back, and that gives you, you know, the correct letter, and that spells out the message.
That's it?
Oh, bullshit! That's it! You have to play something backwards! What normal viewer would go and play something backwards?
Oh, it's pretty obvious.
Oh yeah, bullshit, that's what you couldn't figure out. But
I don't even think I was paying attention during the opening credits. This is... This is the first, well, I guess technically it's the third episode, but I wasn't paying attention to the other 2 episodes. This is the first time I've really seen this, so.
So we will, again, through cheating, we'll also say what the messages are at the end, because some are just throwaway jokes, others are like, ooh, like, that's kind of intriguing.
So what do you think Welcome to Gravity Falls means?
I think it means that this is going to be a kick-ass show, and it's even better watching it the second time. Because with this first episode, we talk about this first episode, you see Dipper and Mabel, they're sent to Gravity Falls for the summer, which you brought up a good question. You're like, is the whole show over the summer? And I'm like, I think it is just this one summer.
Because my only thing is, you've limited yourself to 60 episodes then.
Well, we'll see what they do, yeah, because second season is still going, and I'm kind of with you. I'm like, well, where are they gonna go with it? Like, this is even a shorter time than Game of Thrones.
Third season's like, and then that next summer, or maybe it's like Doctor Who. Maybe the summers regenerate.
Maybe they keep coming back as different people.
No, the summer is a TARDIS. It's long. It's like longer on the inside. No idea.
So anyway, they're sent to Gravity Falls. You kind of get the idea really fast. They're inside too much. They're playing their games and stuff. So you see these pair of hands there. Their parents just throw summer camp stuff on them and throw them out there. And Dipper is just there with his Uncle Stan, or Grunkle Stan. I try to pay attention why they call him Grunkle Stan, and I
So is it
totally
Grunkle
missed it.
or Crunkle?
Grunk with a G, as far as I know.
Okay. I couldn't tell if it was Grunkle or Crunkle.
I tried to pay attention why they called him that this time. I was just like, it just sounds like they just say Grunkle Stan, so I might have missed it, but I was trying to listen, but I didn't get it. So he goes and he finds this bee, knocks on a tree that turns out is fake, it's made of metal, and there's a device in there. He pushes one button, just one of the buttons, and this door opens up, and there's this book that has 6 fingers on the front and a 3 on it, and it has
never meant for the world of the living.
Yeah, very Book of the Dead. And it has all these little things written in there and codes and the ways Gravity Falls works and all these secrets. And at the same time, Mabel, first of many, is dating a boyfriend that's weird and strange, and it turns out is gnomes.
That was one of the best lines. What was it? Due to their pale skin and bad attitudes, they're often confused for teenagers.
but my favorite, again, I wouldn't get this the first time, watching it again, when he shows her, he says, you don't know what you're dealing with, and he opens up the book and it says gnomes, and she goes, oh, he says, oh, no, and it's
that was
zombies!
the first thing I noticed. I just thought it was a joke.
No, but I love that he got it right the first time.
Did.
He actually did get gnomes
by
right.
accident, but it flashed to the gnomes. He's like, oh, sorry, this one. Because I just thought it was a joke, because I'm like, oh, that's funny, because, like, really, gnomes would be threatening, and holy shit, it turns out they are.
And hilarious. So it turns out they're gnomes. They want Mabel to be their gnome queen. They just need a new gnome queen, which makes you ask what happened to the first gnome queen. Which they haven't answered that yet, but I'm really curious.
Maybe Ripley took her out. I don't know.
Maybe. I love to see that, like, just this giant, like, sort of queen alien just has a pointy hat on her head. It's like, they could really do a lot.
Pumping out little gnome eggs.
Yeah. So, yeah, good, creepy thought. So they go ahead and they outrun the gnomes, and they use the leaf blower to blow them up pretty much. And Dipper's now using the book also as like his own personal diary, which I forgot. Which should be interesting if he ever does find the author. Be like, hey, what's all this gibberish written here?
I had the whole last half of this book written in invisible ink, you asshole. Now I can't read shit.
So yeah, pretty much when it's just about to end, Stan goes downstairs, types this message, some sort of code into the vending machine, it opens up, and he closes it, and they make it very clear that's not like a joke thing, like it's something's going on, and as soon as that played for me, I'm like, I'm watching this show. Like, I love this mix of both really funny Adventure Time style comedy with this setting, but also this very legit mystery going on of these secrets and these codes and something bigger that you don't understand. It's probably supernatural, and I just knew, like, I have to see it from this point on. So, what are your thoughts on first episode intro?
It was all right.
Yeah.
Bullshit. The intro caught my attention. It was like, I'm sure you're wondering why the hell I'm sitting here running away in a golf cart from a giant monster with my sister. Like, so it gave the lead in. It had me when they were just working at the Mystery Shack. I just loved that location. Mm-hmm. And first off, it reminds me of the Wisconsin Dells.
That's the first thing that came to my head.
All I could think of is all the tourist traps at the Dells. So, I could totally relate to that, and just like, my God, people spend money on anything. But, so, it reminded me of that. I think, I was telling you, I was like, you know what this feels like? I'm like, this is like an old LucasArts adventure game come to life. Like, I want the little inventory screen to pop up, and I can take a little cross
Monkey Island, Guybrush
give book to sister, read book. Yeah, and like, so as much as I love it, there's a part of me that's just like, man, I wish I could just play this. Like, not even watch it, but just play it. But, yeah, honestly, it's the atmosphere. The animation's really, really good. There's just details in every corner. It's just really interesting.
Particularly the backgrounds, yeah.
Yeah, the backgrounds
and a lot
are amazing.
Of them do
and it's the backgrounds and the goofy locations and the sense of humor that reminds me of, like, I feel like it's like it's like Secret of Monkey Island, like crossed with the X-Files or Lost or something.
Yeah, I think maybe that's it. Maybe it's not as much Lost as much as like X-Files. Maybe that's sort of what I like. But the funny thing, you're talking about the detail. A lot of the stuff now watching it a second time, I'll see certain symbols. It's like, ooh, I know what that is. Ooh, I know what that is. And that's also trained my eye for future episodes to look like, well, what else could be something? What else? Because I know it's like there's one episode, it could just be a mistake or something. There's like a light bulb or something that has 6 fingers in the back. And I'm like, ooh.
As goofy as the show is, you can just tell there's a ton of effort put into it.
Oh, God.
Like, It's not just, here's a series of jokes. Like, you can tell it's like, no, somebody thought really hard about this. And, because, like, you show me a couple episodes that were from later in the season, the video game episode, and I'm just like, you could tell these creators at least grew up in the 80s or have 80s awareness, because it was, like, our style of humor.
Yeah, very
much. Like,
the
Street Fighter jokes and the, which... We'll save that for another time when we do that episode. But, it's... I think we were talking about, because I've seen a number of episodes of Adventure Time, and I like it perfectly fine. I think it's really good. For me, personally, this is more my style of humor. It just appeals to me just more on a basic level. While I may even respect Adventure Time more by the time this is over, just this is what I find funny and rewatchable, and so it's got me really sucked in. That's all I can say.
That's again. Someone has seen a lot of the episodes so far, and a lot of Adventure Time, obviously. I have known that Adventure Time is a better show. It's got even more mysteries going on. It's got even more characters. The moral dilemmas and all that stuff they have to go through are better than Gravity Falls, even though there's some decent ones in here. The world, you can go anywhere, be anything. There's almost no limitations. It's unbelievable, and it is just, there's more variety, more possibility. It is a better show, but with that said, so far I do like Gravity Falls more for the reason that you said. It just seems more tailored towards me.
It's our style.
Yeah, I mean, just the woods, the dark shadows, and there's something about...
Well, it's the Citizen Kane argument. A lot of people be like, yeah, I think Citizen Kane is one of the best films ever made. I can only watch it maybe once every 5 years. Because it's just like, some movies you can be like, oh, they're really good. They're just not watchable or immensely entertaining, though. I don't want to say that about Adventure Time, but I'm just saying, in comparison, this is a little more entertaining and watchable for me personally.
Yeah,
which is not a shot against Adventure Time. I'm not saying it's not entertaining. I do find it entertaining. So.
No, and it is. I mean, like I said, I think even though both shows are not done yet, comparing the two, it seems like Adventure Time, like I said, it does have even more mystery and even more, especially the moral dilemmas and the lessons that Adventure Time teaches are deeper and they are smarter and better. Because Gravity Falls, you'll see, are a little run-of-the-mill. But, yeah, I think that some about the atmosphere and the characters. And I think, strangely enough, there is something about, it sounds weird, but the limitation that the show has where it's all just in this one place. But what can happen in this one place? With Adventure Time, it's very much... Any world is possible. You can create anything you want. And that's wonderful. And it's fantastic.
No, it is.
Please keep it
it's
going.
It's very much any world, but sometimes, like... For me personally, a show where every episode's like, we can go to any world, we can do this. Like, sometimes I'm just like, I just like one location that's really just thought out and just filled with all this detail and stuff. And even the animation in Adventure Time is obviously different than this too. And as a style of animation, it doesn't appeal to me personally as much. But again, it's not bad animation in Adventure Time.
No, it's very good.
It's just not my style. But yeah, it's kind of like, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is another good example. I know some people are just like, God, that movie's sort of dumb. And I'm like, yeah, but it just appeals to me. Like, that's my style of dumb that I like. Or like when we talk about Roland Emmerich films, I love Stargate. Don't like Independence Day much. You're like, but they're both dumb. I'm like, yeah, but Stargate's my kind of dumb.
And I think what's so great, what Disney's been doing a lot of recently that I'm really impressed, because I think of this, I think of Wreck-It Ralph, I think of Frozen, is that they're getting across they can usually do one thing really good. They can either do either really good morals, but then the comedy's okay, a really great comedy, but then the moral's kind of okay. They sort of centered on
one. Big Hero 6.
Yeah, exactly.
They got one thing really well, and the other
everything else is But with Gravity Falls and Frozen and stuff like that, it seems like they're tackling two very hard things to do. With Gravity Falls, it seems to be that you have some legitimately funny, clever comedy.
Lots of character.
Lots of character, very distinct character.
It's like a USA show.
But also this really gripping mystery where I say, I can't miss an episode. I have to know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm interested in it, just from what I've seen. It's like, and why did the uncle open his vending machine to a secret room downstairs? I'll watch again. Why is there a tree, that opens up like a telephone pole and then, a book buried in the ground? I'm interested.
And this is, I always say a show or a movie, I always have to give credit if it actually makes me gasp at some point. I forget, it's one of the episodes coming up, I'll bring it up, but there actually was one
The gnomes made me gasp. When they took it off and it was the gnomes, I burst out laughing.
No, not
so
laughing,
hard.
Legitimately, like that. There's actually a scene, it's in one of the it's in one of the episodes coming up, a second or third, and I literally gasped and I said, oh my god, this show has me. It has me hooked. And I'll bring it up when it comes up. It's going to be one of the ones coming up. But
I think the only... God, I don't even know if I should say this, because Christ only knows the hate I'm going to have launched upon me.
We have enough hate from several geeky groups.
This is not a slam against the voice actor himself.
Oh, okay, I know what you're going to say.
This is not... The acting is fine. I don't get the voice of Dipper.
Yeah.
I don't get why he's got this 25-year-old male voice. And it's like, I'm slowly getting used to it since this is the third episode I've technically seen, but it's weird for me. I don't get why that was necessary, because the sister's voice sounds... it's
a little kiddish, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an adult, but it sounds like a little kid. He doesn't sound like a little kid to me. I can't figure out, why they did that. And again, he's acted fine.
Yeah, he's fine. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's just, they picked that, an older voice actor, and I'm not sure why, because every time I hear it, I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. There's something weird about it, but in that sort of not good weird way, but distracting way to me, and normally by about the middle of the episode I kind of forget about it, but always when an episode starts I'm like, oh yeah.
It's the actor is, I think it's the son of John Ritter, I believe. But don't
now I feel like an asshole.
I'm with you. He's fine. He's a fine actor. He's very funny.
Remember, I had the same, and obviously we respect Dante Bosco. I mean, that goes without saying. I think his voice acting in Avatar was amazing. And I thought his voice acting was fine in Korra, but I thought he was miscast because of the way they designed that character. I'm like, this looks like a very old, I'm like, the voice is not matching the way you drew the character, and it's a similar situation here. Bosco's voice sounded a little young for a character who looked older. In this case, we got a young character that the voice sounds a little old, so I don't know. I just don't know why they did that, but that's the only thing I can think of.
It does grow on you, like you said, because I remember you saying that, man, that's distracting, and then by the second episode, you're like, it's growing on me, because it's you're right, he's a good actor, and his delivery's fine and everything, it's the pitch.
Yeah.
And it is a weird choice, but at the same time, it's one of those things where I've warmed up to it so much now, it's okay, but I'm kind of with you, I don't know why that initial choice, because Because you're right, it's a little kid.
I think it taps into that sort of thing that bugs me about certain shows, and I'm not accusing this show of having it. I thought it was gonna, like... I was worried when you showed me those first couple episodes, because I thought, man, this is sliding into that, like, hipster Portlandia territory. It's like, oh, we're in the Pacific Northwest, and it just... I don't know. There was... And, like, oh, and we got a younger kid with an older-sounding voice, and, like, fortunately, from what I've seen, it doesn't really stray that far into it. But that was my fear when you first were showing it to me. I'm like... Oh God, this is gonna be like one of those hipster shows. Is it like?
Yeah, the only major like in your face hipster stuff to me is with the Wendy character, which will
is that the older girl?
Yeah, which we'll get more into.
Yeah, she was bothering me in the other episodes. Like you didn't see much of her here, but that was the one I'm just like.
Like I know,
like millennials.
and before we get the major, how can you hate Wendy? I don't hate Wendy, but I got some issues definitely. But
there's you know what it is? It's like in stuff that we lived through the '90s. I didn't hate every '90s kid. You know, there were some that I'm like, yeah, those characters are alright, but you can still sense that it's a marketing ploy. Like this is
a little bit.
Like this is to appeal to that, and like. Yeah, that's the thing I see there. I'm like, oh, millennial hipster demographic. It's the same issue in some ways with Big Hero 6 with the rest of that team.
Yeah.
Outside of Hero, it's just like this just feels like the chart says.
Yeah, no, it does.
Like, you know, and that's my issue. I'm not saying it's a terrible character. I didn't even know her yet. I mean, so so those are my only two little things I've noticed, and then otherwise. Really solid show. Like, I can't wait to watch the rest.
The last thing I'll say, because this vlog's really long. That's the first episode.
Yeah.
Is that I saw the actress who does the voice of Mabel. I was shocked that that's pretty much her voice. It's a little higher pitch, but that is her voice. So it is funny that we were talking about the Dipper voice and how it doesn't really change much. But hers doesn't either. But it seems to fit a bit more. It seems a little bit more fitting.
I find a lot of times that happens more with female voice actors. I remember when we saw a voice actress who plays Korra at Kineticon, and I'm just like, wow, that's just really Korra. Like, but then again, Dante Bosco's the same. You meet him, and he's like, oh, that's just Rufio and Iroh, and like it's like only a slight variation. It's pretty much the same. So but I guess it just depends.
Yeah, it just depends on the casting. You know, honestly, with the Ritter guy, it could very much just be that. They just heard me. It's like, no one has better timing than him. Nobody has better delivery. Let's just take a risk.
Yeah. Again, the acting's fine.
Yeah. But I know where you're coming from.
But like
I think it does
the first episode you showed me, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to listen to this voice through the whole episode. And by the end of it, I'm like, oh, okay, like it's acted well, it's good, and like every episode I see, I forget about it a little more and more. So maybe by about episode 5, I won't even be thinking about it. But
okay. And I do have. One last thing, I know I lied. I swear it's the last thing though, is that I have to say on this one because it's the first episode though. With any, I mean, I don't know if you're this way, I don't know, but with any show, particularly a kid show, something that's shown on Disney and stuff like that, there is always this sense when everyone says, you gotta watch it. It's like, I'll watch it, but you go a little bit with your defenses up, like, yeah, okay, win me over, and we should be open to it and stuff, but there's always this sense of, oh, okay, my time's valuable, I really want it to be spent well, and you're sort of not as open to getting something, so when something really grabs you as well, and breaks through those barriers, and grabs you, and pulls you in, I have such immense respect for it.
We get so many recommendations from fans, and some of them are really good. Other times I've sat through things people have recommended me and I've gone, oh my God. Like, and it's just a crapshoot when you have people come up to you like total strangers and they're just like, all right, well, should I trust this person? I don't know. I guess I'll give it a try. So it's always like this 50-50. So yeah, I do the same thing. I tend to go in like guns blazing, like ready. And like, I swear to God, this show 1 minute in, I was just like dropping the gun. I was like dropping guns. I was like, love me.
This also might be the first time I've ever seen animated this. Yeah, I loved it when the gnome did that, when they revealed their gnomes, and they're just like, so, we're gnomes, and I don't think I've ever seen that animated. Or no, it's this, I think, yeah.
I actually, bringing that up, when he was like, and he doesn't blink. Have you ever noticed he doesn't blink? I swear to God, the entire rest of the episode, I was noticing how much the characters blink. I was just like,
they're not real, they're animated!
I was like, wait, have they been animating these characters blinking? Because they've got big expressive eyes, so I'm just like, like, oh yeah, they are. And then I couldn't unsee it the rest of the episode. Every time they blinked, I'm like, he blinked again.
Disney, we have blinks. So that's episode 1. We'll try not to make the vlogs as long as this one, but it's the first episode. Gotta go on. So yeah, we'll see you in episode 2.